Bhabha points out that colonial discourse is always marked by a kind of ambivalence towards the colonized. It plays on the two themes of fetish and phobia. On the one hand, there is a desire for the colonized, the native, the exotic land, the exotic literature, so on and so forth. That is the fetish part. At the, I mean, on the other hand, there is a simultaneous fear of the unknown native, and this is, of course, the phobia part. Now, we come to the most common example that he had given in explaining this thing further from the point of view of the natives, that is science taken for wonders, is a wonderful essay by Bhabha in which he talks about the Bible. As we know, the Bible was a very important text, a tool of colonization. Whether you read Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe or The Devil on the Cross by Gogi wa Thiong'o, we come to know how it served as a primary tool of colonization or Europeanization or whatever by Christianizing the people. But what happened is that Bhabha says that when the Bible was made available to the natives, there are a whole history of Bible translations. We all know that. I mean, not in Europe, in the native languages. From Srirampur Missionary Press, I mean, the Bengali Bible and then the Assamese Bible, all this started coming up. Bhabha argues that the moment you translate the Bible into the native languages, it loses the authenticity of the original Bible. Original here, of course, it doesn't mean the Greek or Hebrew Bible, but the English Bible. For us, the English Bible was the original Bible. So, in our native languages, signs, symbols, words, many things which were not there in the original Bible becomes kind of prevalent in the translated version, and vice versa. So what happens is that there is a kind of ambivalence. You do not get the desired authentic Bible, the natives. So that is the ambivalence part. He extends it further in his argument about mimicry. While this ambivalence part is related to Bible translation specifically, the concept of mimicry takes the entire gamut of, the cultural politics of colonization. You please relate it to the mimic man, especially for some people. Now, what is mimicry? More or less, Bhabha says here I am actually using Pramod Nair's wonderful translation of Bhabha. We can say it is a translation. I mean, Bhabha is so difficult and dense. At times it becomes rather an arduous task for beginners to handle him. So that's why Pramod Nair's definition that mimicry is a disciplined imitation of the colonizer on the part of the colonized. So we try to be, or we tried to be, like the Englishman, just as now we try to be like the American. Neo-colonialism. Maybe after some time we may, in future, we may try to be like the Chinese. We don't know. Now, where Chinese colonialism in a way is advancing. Just as even as I'm making this video, there is a news that 59 apps have been banned. Very good. Especially TikTok should have been banned, in fact, long back. This is a huge wastage of time. Anyway, so we mimic the colonizer, okay? But in spite of all our mimicry, we try to become a perfect Englishman by trying to speak not only the English language but pronounce like the English. We tried. Now we don't try. After reading post-colonialism, I mean the Caliban paradigm, I have left it, but more or less all people try this. In our time when we did BA, it was the received pronunciation, RP. Now it is the American thing. So we try to be like them, but no matter how much so ever try, we cannot change the color of our skin or the position of our tongue in a way that is a bit controversial, because Chomsky's theory is there, which is a different thing. Anyway, so No matter how much we ever try, we cannot become the perfect Englishman or the Englishman. So we finally, what we remain is a mimic man, a copy of the Englishman. You remember that Hindi song I used to tell you in the class, साला मैं तो सांप बन गया, ये कोट मेरा देखो, ये बूट मेरा देखो, जैसे घोड़ा कोई लंदन का. So that image, राजू बन गया gentleman, so you have a coat, tie, boot. I don't have, it's American, the neo-colonial t-shirt concept. Anyway, so we have left our dresses, traditional dresses, almost all together, men especially. But we expect our women to carry on without traditional dresses. That is also patriarchy, feminism part is there. So that's why intersectionality, different things come together. Anyway, so we try to imitate the British or the European to become a British man, but finally we cannot become. So we remain a mimic man. So Bhaba's story, in a we can say that Bhaba's theory is best expressed by a story in Panchatantra, which is available, I believe, in Aesop's Tales also, if we remember correctly. The crow which wanted to become a peacock, and it used feathers of peacock, and finally neither accepted by peacocks nor by crows. However, in colonized societies, it is not one crow, but almost all crows try to become peacocks. So, even if not accepted by peacocks, we are acceptable among ourselves. But anyway, there is also among us, there is a huge section of people who think in, or they think in purely Deshi term. They call us English babus, they don't like us, etc., etc. Anyway, so I hope you have understood what Bhaba's concept of mimicry is. All colonially educated persons are mimic men, not proper men. We are neither Indian nor European, we are mimic men. So that is mimicry or colonial mimicry. However, it is so far as the colonized are concerned, I mean, what I have discussed till now is so far as the effect of mimicry on colonized is concerned, but there is another part to it. Mimicry also destabilizes colonial authority, according to Bhabha. Because you see, the British man, yeah, I can say man, because colonial rule was mostly by men. So the British man wanted us to become like them so that they can rule majority of us. For that communication is necessary to take place. So unless and until we learn their language, it cannot take place. They spoke some Hindi or Bangla at times, but since we are colonized, it was our duty to learn their language, then their obligation to learn ours. So they wanted us to learn their languages, but not beyond a point. As Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay said, this is not in Bhabha, my original contribution. If you read Bankim, no Englishman ever liked, in India, no Englishman ever liked an Indian speaking and writing perfect English. They preferred the broken Babu kind of English, which gave them the superiority complex. Hari Babu is an example of that in Rudyard Kipling's Skim. So you read, the same thing has been said by Nirotsi. Later things changed, but mostly they did not prefer for clerk's post or some other post some persons who are perfect in English. So Bankim Chandra gives a detail, ironically, that if you want to get a job under company, you will have to write an application in broken English, not in perfect English. Even if you know, then in all possibilities you will not get the job. But then in that, you will say 10 times my lord, 20 times your honor, like that. So then you get the job. Wonderful story. I think in certain ways this thing, whether we have moved out of this tradition totally, that's the question. Anyway, not in academics. Academics things are very perfect, but in other, sectors, that kind of pleasing the authority to get your due. So it was very much there in British rule. So so to do that, so what happens in the bargain is that the colonized, at one level, they show a kind of excessive servility. Before that, so the British wants us to learn their language, their culture, but only up to a point, not beyond that. If you there is an invisible border. If you cross that and start becoming fully like themselves, then there will be crack of the whip. If you read Amitabh Ghosh's The Sea of Poppies, you will find the king's condition, who was hated all the more by the British when he spoke chaste English. Anyway, so this is one aspect of mimic men. You have to be British, the educated Indians or educated Africans, up to a point, not beyond that. So beyond that, then the empire will feel insecure. But anyway, this whole thing, Bhabha argues that they want us to be like them, but yet not fully like them, shows the insecurities of the empire, powerlessness of the empire, rather than the power. Well, that is Bhabha's interpretation. The fact part is true, but the interpretation part, it is up to you and me. I mean, if we are given a free choice, I would rather go more with Said, not with Bhabha. This colonialism was very powerful. These are Bhabha's, very close readings, as it happens with deconstructive reading or excessively textual reading. Sometimes you read so close and so much between the lines that it, escapes reality, or reality escapes it. Anyway, so Bhabha's theory is that. So similarly, or alternatively, on the part of the colonized also, there was this double game, that externally it would be very subservient to the ji hujur, my lord, sir, like that, honorable sir, that will still continue to get their due, but internally there will be no respect, hatred. So if you can watch a Bengali movie, if you are a Bengali descent, where this thing has been portrayed very well, Bhuter Bhovishya, there is a Zamindar, Darpanarayan Chaudhuri. So he is very much powerful and all. Jomindars used to be before their subjects, but before the British, like this. So this is the kind of aerials, post-colonial aerial. Anyway, so this is what Bhabha calls sly civility, that you show a kind of courtesy which is slyness. You want to please the British by showing that you are obedient, but actually there is no obedience from heart. Obsequiousness, I mean. So this is what is mimicry all about. I mean, if you read Bhabha, there will be more. So this is primarily, if you want to tell this in a simple sentence, it is just the theory of imitation or mimesis by Plato, Aristotle, in a way more Aristotle than Plato, but applied in the colonial context. We learn everything, even our language, by mimesis, isn't it? But there is not so much an obvious power compulsion. That possibly a choice, but in case of colonization, there was a compulsion. So this is what colonial mimicry or mimicry is all about, and before that, ambivalence. So these are some of the crucial concepts concepts given by Bhabha and his contribution to post-colonial theory. I hope now when you read the text that I had supplied to you in the group, the theory texts, those will be clearer and this will be helpful for you.